What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Paving the Way. I am Daniel Wright, your host, and I am happy, as always, to have you joining me on this show. Guys, I hope your week is off to a great start. As always, here you are listening to it, hopefully right when it dropped on Wednesday morning, and you're kicking ass this week, and you've got great plans for the rest of this week. I know we've been came out of the gate shooting hard Monday this week, so it's been a wild week for us. But nonetheless, as always, I'm doing my best efforts to get time in front of the camera, in front of the mic with you guys to try and deliver some value, try and deliver some experiences that I've gone through to hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. So, guys, today I want to talk a little bit about building trust and credibility. More specifically, building trust and credibility with your clients, with your vendors, and with your team. So, this is all going to be something that if you're following along with this journey, with this show, you're probably in some sort of a leadership role, some sort of a business owner role, aspiring business owner, whatever it may be. But these are things that I think are pretty important. It's what we've built a lot of our company on over the last 8 years and continue to do so. And I just want to share what I've learned with you guys. So let's get started. All right, guys, welcome back. Hey, so let's go ahead and jump right into it because I know you don't want to hear me just flap my gums for the heck of it. But nonetheless, guys, building trust and credibility. What does that actually mean, right? So it means something different to everybody, but to me, trust and credibility, they go hand in hand, right? In order to have credibility, you have to have trust. And when you have trust, you establish credibility. But what does that mean in the business world? What does that mean to your vendors, to your clients, or to your team? Well, those are the three categories that I want to kind of cover today. So we'll start with building trust and credibility with your clients and why it's important. Well, firstly, why it's important is because if you don't have trust and credibility with your clients, they're probably not going to be your client for long. So we are in the business to build long-lasting relationships with our clients. So therefore, we want to have trust and credibility established. Well, how do you do that? One of the big things that a lot of clients look for is your testimonials. Right. So testimonials or reviews, because everybody goes to Google for reviews and see how many stars you got and all the people who've said you've done so wonderful and great and everything like that. So you want to make sure that you let your clients know, hey, you probably looked at our Google reviews before you hired us. Would you do us a favor? If you're happy with everything we did, if you enjoyed the experience, would you mind dropping a review of your experience with us? So it's something we started to do, honestly, kind of this year, is because we started getting feedback from our clients when we would ask them, hey, how'd you hear about us? Common answer nowadays is Google. So here's a plug for you, Google. Not that you need it, but that's where everybody's going to find businesses these days. Wow. But they would say, yeah, we saw you on Google. We saw your reviews and we figured we would give you guys a shot. And so we kind of had this wild epiphany and said, okay, if these people have found us on Google, looked at our reviews, valued the reviews, maybe we should let other people know that people are finding us on Google, reading the reviews and valuing our reviews. So one of our part of our process for our projects is at the end of them, we talk to the client, hey, were you satisfied with everything? Did we give you 5-star service, 5-star quality, 5-star experience, whatever it may be? And if so, would you do us a huge favor and leave us a review on our page? Yeah, sometimes it gets a little bit awkward asking for someone to go leave a review or do a favor? Sure. But let's face it, like I said, guys, it's the reality of it. We all go to Google and look at reviews and look at, people's, track records or their testimonials that they have for their clients on how other people experience them. Because with today's day and age, anybody can say anything they want when it comes to, putting up a website or posting pictures or making videos, and you can have all this smoke and mirrors. Well, who's not going to lie about that? The client who actually had the interaction. Right. So that's why it's valuable to have those testimonials. It's valuable to have those Google reviews, those ratings, those 5 stars, whatever it may be. Because let's face it, too, we've had reviews put in where a project goes awry and there's something that happens wrong. And that client writes about it, said, hey, yeah, we had some hiccups on it. We had some issues with part of the scope, whatever it was. But Proline came through and handled it flawlessly. They took ownership for it. They made it right, made sure we were happy, so on and so forth. Because at the end of the day, It's not about, if things go wrong on something, things will always go wrong. There will always be something that doesn't go to plan, that doesn't go as, accordingly to how you expected it to go. And people don't typically remember how, like what went wrong. They remember how you responded to what went wrong. So don't be afraid to have your clients share some of those stories. Now, if every single project you do has something go wrong, I would perhaps maybe look at your business model or your processes or your systems, because you might have a different issue to work with. But nonetheless, every now and then, encourage your clients to be honest, to be transparent, and to share how their experience was with you, because that's what the next client is going to relate to. Not with what your website says, not with what your advertisements say, not with what your social media says. It's what other clients experience from you. In addition to testimonials and reviews, you want to make sure that you are as absolutely transparent as possible with your clients. What does that mean, right? Because I see contractors out there who they send proposals, they send estimates in, and it says, in our industry for parking lots, it says paint parking lot, $2,000. And I sit and think about it. I'm like, well, okay, well, that's great. And does it answer the question of what they're going to do? Sure. However, for example, for our business, our proposals say, in the designated area on the attached aerial view, restripe all existing pavement markings. These pavement markings include parking stall lines, handicap markings, 12-inch stenciling, whatever it is. So that way there is absolutely no question on what services, what job that they're expecting us to do for them. And then when we send it to our crew to go out and execute the project, there's no questions, no confusion on what the expectation is for our company to complete. So it keeps it transparent for everybody involved. In addition to that, when we go do these site visits, when we go make these maps, we make it as detailed as possible, right? If you ask anybody who works with me, they're going to say that Daniel is a ridiculous, he's extremely particular about the grammar, about punctuation, about verbiage, so on and so forth. And I've even had people ask me, look, why does it matter? I'm saying the same thing that you are. Okay, you might be. Paint the parking lot. Says the same thing as me adding in all of the specifics of what we're painting. However, the transparency and the clarity that we're offering to the client helps build trust and credibility. The fact that we took the time to write out all of the specific things that we're going to do for them and how we're going to do that, it breeds that trust. Because if we took the time and effort on the front end, when we could have taken a shortcut, we could have made it easier, quicker, faster, whatever it may be, and we didn't, then that's going to build that trust and credibility on the front end that we actually dot our I's and cross our T's. So being transparent through that whole process, whether it's the products that you apply, how you apply them, what the process looks like, who's going to be on site, what time you're going to be there, what the expected plan is, the phase plan, right? We have a lot of projects. We have to split parking lots or properties up into phases, and we make color coordinated phase plans for folks to say, hey, day 1, day 2, day 3. So everything is transparent. Everything is out on the table. What we are planning on doing is very, very clear right from the start. And then the biggest thing that I can say to all of this to build trust and credibility with your clients is your company's responsiveness, right? I can't tell you how many times we get compliments, especially early on in business when I got compliments that they say, wow, you're the first company I've called all day that actually answered their phone. And as much as that was great to hear, my question always back was, well, why wasn't I the first company you called? How do I get there? But that obviously just takes time and credibility with Google to be able to be the first one that shows up on those search results. But nonetheless, clients absolutely love it and appreciate it and build that trust and credibility when we answer our phones, when we respond to emails. We use Basecamp for our project management system when we respond to their messages that they send us in Basecamp, because we tell them this is what we use to communicate. So then when they actually onboard and when they use that program for us, the fact that we jump right on it and respond quickly, they're like, man, these people are on it. You wouldn't believe how many people I've called and I just haven't heard back from them, or I send them an email and never hear anything. At our company, our policy, when an incoming call, an incoming lead, an incoming email comes in, our policy for the office team is that we respond to it within 15 minutes. And so we make sure that's something that we actually audit. When we pull random projects to audit, we see, okay, what time and day did this call come in? When and how did we respond to it? And if we missed the 15 minutes, okay, let's figure out why. Were we in a meeting? Were we on the other line? Like, did something happen? Sure, things happen. But you have to have a standard, right? You have to have an expectation for which to operate by. Because if you have no metric, no standard to operate by, then there is nothing to measure. And we've all heard before, what gets measured gets improved. So we make sure that we have standards in place for our expectations for responsiveness, answering the phone calls, responding to the emails, so on and so forth. So if anybody from the admin team or the team in general is listening, huge shout out to our office staff, because it is something that we really are hounding on to make sure that we stay on top of that stuff and really create that great experience from the get-go. So those are the 3 items right there that I like about building trust and credibility when it comes to the clients. So your testimonials, your reviews, your transparency, and your responsiveness. Next, and probably one of the most important places that you need to build trust and credibility is with your vendors, right? So who's providing you your products? Who's providing you your materials, your supplies, your tools, your equipment, whatever it may be. So early on in business, you guys have heard me talk about my grandfather before and his business journey. I've talked a little bit about it, and he's kind of been a mentor, someone I've looked up to when it comes to building a business and a reputable company, one that's trusted and credible. And I always asked him, I said, so what kind of things do you do for your clients? Like for gifts or, end of year stuff, Christmas gifts, whatever it may be, or customer appreciation. He said, Daniel, he said, very rarely did I ever do anything for clients. He said, we appreciated them. We communicated with them well. We treated them well. We spent time with them, so on and so forth. He said, but where I put most of my effort was in building the relationships with our vendors. And I said, well, that's interesting. I said, why is that? I mean, your clients are the ones that pay you. They're how you like generate money and your income, and you pay your team, so on and so forth. He said, Daniel, he said, here's how it works. All right. He said, you can wake up tomorrow and find 10 new clients to work with. If you hustle hard enough, if you work hard enough, you could go find 10 new clients. How hard would it be to find 10 new vendors that do what they do now, that provide the quality that they do now, the customer service that they do now? And he said, you have to look at the bigger picture. He said, if you don't take care of your vendors and they don't take care of you, then you will have no customers. You will have no clients. So build the relationships with the vendors, because it allows you to then build the relationships and take care of your clients. So that has been a huge piece of advice that I was given, and I make sure to take it absolutely to heart. As a matter of fact, I spent some time with one of our vendors today at a pickleball court project we're doing. It was actually one of the first times I met this sales rep in person. And we got to just really spend some time building a relationship, just talking and chatting and kind of getting to know each other, how we got into the industries, what we plan to do with it, how we can help each other succeed, how we can help the clients succeed. And man, it was like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, because of how important that is to building a business and to building a brand. You have to have the trust and credibility of your vendors if you want them to help you build your brand for your clients. So one of the ways that you can do that with your vendors is you just have to communicate. Like I said, I spent 2 hours with the sales rep from our vendor for the sport court coatings today, out on site, kind of going over what the plan is and how we're going to be doing things and just getting to know each other. We communicate with them, whether they send, obviously they want paid too, right? So when we buy products from them and they send their monthly statements on what we owe them, we acknowledge, hey, we received the statement. Thanks for sending it to us. Here's the plan for getting this paid or that paid, whatever it is. So we openly communicate. We're very easy to get a hold of. When they call, we answer. When they email, we respond. When we need something, we call them. That's how it works. So that way we have that open line of communication on a regular basis. On the note of paying them, right? That's something that so many vendors get stuck with, is they get stuck footing the bill for their contractors' supplies. And it's the whole story of, well, we haven't got paid for our job yet, so we can't pay you yet. And it trickles down, right? One thing that we have tried so hard over the years, and I'm not saying we've been perfect at it, because no business is, but we have put so much effort on making sure that we stay current with our suppliers. We stay in communication with them, like I said, but we stay current on what we owe them. We have, just like a lot of you guys out there, you guys have house accounts or things like that, where you go get a huge bulk order. We order 4,000 gallons of asphalt sealer at a time. It goes on a house account with the vendor, and then we have 30 days to pay the house account. That's just how that works, right? And so we stay in communication with them. And then when that bill's due, we pay the bill. Whether or not that we've sold that sealer, whether or not that our clients have paid us is not our vendor's problem. We have their product, we owe them the money, so we are obligated to pay them on time. That right there, point number one, is exactly how vendors want to be treated. They want to have you communicate with them, and they want to be paid. It's a pretty simple concept. And then lastly, one of the things that I found that our vendors love is they love to see our work, right? So one of the accounting clerks that works at one of our vendors' companies, the way, like, she had sent us some emails before, so we kind of gone back and forth on emails about, account stuff or getting this set up or that changed or whatever. And the emails were always kind of, truthfully, they were just kind of shortened to the point. And then one day I saw that this young lady started following along our company's social media page and seeing what we do with the stuff that their company sells us. Next thing you know, from both of us, right? I saw that and I valued it. And then she saw what we did, who we were. Next thing you know, the emails that we're exchanging, they're a lot more of a relationship style, right? They have more friendliness to it, more, hey, I hope things are going well. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope things are whatever, as opposed to just getting down to business. And so when they get to see what you're doing, whether it's through social media, whether it's when you stop in and talk to them and show them pictures of recent projects, bring your team in and introduce them, if it's a vendor that you can go to their site or whatever it is, when you show them who you are and what you're doing, it's going to absolutely establish trust and credibility with them, because they see that, man, these are real people just like you and me, trying to just make a living, trying to do the right thing, trying to provide a good service, a good quality product, whatever it may be. So you show them those things, and they're going to actually get on the inside of who you are as a company. So to recap the three things that you do to build the trust and credibility with vendors, it's you communicate with them, respond to them, answer their phone calls, respond to their emails, pay them when you're supposed to pay them, and you show them what you do with the products that they provide you. And then lastly, right, and this can sometimes be the hardest, is building trust and credibility with your team, okay? Because your team, it's hard because you're with them all the time. It's kind of like your family members. Sometimes you don't always put in that extra effort to build your relationships with your spouse or your kids or your brother, sister, parent, whatever it may be, because you're like, oh, I'll see him later. I'll see him tomorrow. I'll see him on Monday. I'll see him next week, next month, whatever it may be. And so you don't put in as much effort to that. However, as a leader, it is our job to build trust and credibility with our team, because if we have no trust and credibility with our team, why in the world would they listen to anything that we ask them to do or tell them that we're going to do as a company? They're not. So you have to take the time to build it with your team. And one of the first things, just like the last one, is your communication. Are you communicating regularly with your team? For us, we have weekly leadership meetings. So that is where our head of operations, head of sales, head of admin, head of marketing and media, we all get together once a week to make sure we're all on the same page about what we're doing here. Are we living up to our standards? Are we meeting our expectations? Are we still on the same page for where we're going as a company? So we have to communicate in that way. And then this year, one of the things that I've committed to doing, and I've held to it every month so far, is doing a monthly full company meeting. For us, we do them on the first Wednesday of every month. We tend to, try to incorporate some sort of either if we do it, around 10 o'clock, we try to have some sort of snack, some foods, whatever it may be. Or sometimes we're able to make it work towards around lunchtime, and we do a lunch meeting. So we provide lunch for the team. We have a meeting. We go through everything. Anybody who wants to speak can speak. Ask questions. You ask questions. We do an Employee of the Month award that's all voted on by the team. So there's some fun to it. There's excitement. We talk about what may be coming up in the future, our quarterly outings, so on and so forth. So it's just a monthly get together where, even though we're a small team, it can still be hard to do it. So that's why I made it a priority, but where the whole team gets to hear things straight from the horse's mouth, right? They hear things straight from me, straight from Randy in marketing, straight from JJ in operations, straight from Kelsey in admin, whatever it may be. They hear it straight from the people who's in charge of getting the things done. And so we have to make sure that we're communicating with them on a regular basis. So for us, that cadence is once a month. We communicate. We open it up to questions. We open it up to any feedback, because we want to make sure that they know that we trust and value their perspective and their feedback. So beyond that, and I kind of touched on it a little bit with communication, is you have to constantly be casting the vision, right? Where are you going as a company? Where are you going as a team? Because if you as the leader, if your dream and your goal for your company isn't big enough for all of your team members' dreams and goals to fit inside of it, I can promise you they won't stay. And I can't blame them. I wouldn't stay either. So you got to make sure that that vision is constantly growing, constantly pushing, constantly getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Because unless you're just wanting to have a business to exist and maintain a status quo, then you're going to need to keep growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. And by dying, that also means you're getting passed up by the other companies who are continuing to grow and to push. So if you're not staying on that cutting edge, if you're not staying on that, forward thinking, spearheaded mentality that you want to keep piercing through the next level, then your team will lose faith in you. They'll lose trust in you. You will lose credibility. And then beyond that, with the vision casting, if you're not putting your money where your mouth is, letting the rubber meet the road, put proof in your actions, they will never trust you. You'll never have any credibility with them. You're going to be the guy who blows smoke up their ass once a month on the monthly, company meetings, or once a week on the weekly meetings. You're going to talk about all these great things and then go right back to doing exactly what you were doing. And let's face it, guys, people are smart. Okay. If you're a good leader, a good business owner, you hire smart people. I know I have. And I've had to make sure, and I've had some come to Jesus meetings with myself about, man, I'm casting a great vision here. I'm casting some big dreams, lofty goals. And if I don't put my money where my mouth is, if I don't put my actions where my mouth is, no one's going to believe me. They're going to find out. They're going to call me out on my crap. And so I have to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable for the vision that I'm casting, that I'm constantly communicating with them, that I'm doing everything in my power to prove that I'm full of truth, that I'm full of honesty, and I'm full of actual grit to do what I say I'm going to do. Because the biggest way to lose trust with somebody is to not do what you say you're going to do. That has to be point number one, that you always make sure that if you say you're going to do it, you better do it. What do they say? It takes a lifetime to build trust and seconds to lose it. So if you spend all this time preaching what you're going to do as a company and what you're going to do as a team and all these dreams that are going to come true, and then they catch you slacking and they catch you not putting your money where your mouth is, not letting your actions speak for your words, then they're going to lose every bit of that trust that they ever built with you. So to kind of recap, building that trust and credibility with your team, it's communicate regularly, cast the vision, and put proof in your actions. Because those three things have to all be done consistently to keep that trust and credibility established with your team. So like I said, guys, building trust and credibility, the three big areas that I like to do it in is with our clients, with our vendors, and with our team. Without those three things all working together, you have no business. You have no platform. You have no legacy to build. You have nothing. So my advice to you is take a little bit of accountability, take a few minutes and think about what are you doing to build trust and credibility in those three areas of your business or your life. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and we'll keep paving the way to a better future for you.